use the law of attraction to manifest everything, because this is how you work in the 5D. This is an incredible way for you to manifest what you wish in this life. Everything that you wish for in your life can be boosted. I had that deep negative loop of law of attraction where I was attracting negative things. So when I was thinking about all of that, I started to think about radical forgiveness. Welcome to 5D Channels and Chats with Rachel Chamness. As a shamanic channel and mentor, I'll be sharing wisdom and healing from higher dimensions through channeling beings of light. You will also hear liquid Reiki shamanic sound healing, channels between intuitives, and discussion on higher dimensional healing and channeling. You'll find links and more in the show notes, so be sure to check them. You can find me at soundwavesheal.com and my Facebook group, 5D Daily Spiritual Healers in Higher Dimensions. Hello, everyone. How are you today? I'm Rachel Chamness at Soundwaves Heal. Today I wanted to talk about forgiveness, self-forgiveness, why it's important, why you should do it, and how it can help you in other ways, like even help you with opening your ability for telepathy. So there's a lot to it. So don't, think that this is going to be a heavy, difficult talk. It's not. I just want to help you figure out how to heal yourself on a deeper level with some ways of forgiveness that are probably easier than you think. So today it's all about forgiveness, why you should forgive yourself. So really when we talk about forgiveness, we're talking about forgiving yourself, because it's harder to think about forgiving others. And you don't have to fully forgive others if you can't yet. There are a few things that you could know that might help that I'm going to tell you about in this live. And when you forgive someone else, it's not about excusing their behavior. And that's the biggest part I think that people don't grasp about forgiveness. So why should you forgive others? Why should you forgive yourself? Because it will boost not only your vibration, but it will help your whole life. It will help abundance coming through, help you become just at a higher vibration with more joy in your life. And it will also help you advance in ascension. So when I talk to extraterrestrial beings, they're always saying that the reason that we cannot fully embrace telepathy is because of our own shame. So we're too afraid that if people read our minds and they'd see what a crazy hot mess we are, or like things that we're ashamed about that we probably shouldn't even be ashamed about. It's just, programming or whatever. And all of that is what's keeping us from being telepathic. So if we can forgive ourselves really deeply and just open ourselves up, it wouldn't be the worst thing if someone read your mind. I know it's such a scary thought, but it's true. It wouldn't be the worst thing if you let someone read your mind, as long as you had completely forgiven yourself from all the little things that you hold on to for shame. And this is one of the things that you can use to see where you need to forgive yourself more. So these boosts of forgiveness for ourselves can really help us even forgive other people, which is hard, but I'm going to go through that too. But there's just so much here that I want to cover. And I want to hear your questions too, and your ideas about forgiveness, and either how it's helped you or how you've struggled with it. So please put it in the comments and we will go over that. So we're told of the importance of forgiveness, and yet do we do it? It seems like the hardest thing, right? Because it really does feel like if you forgive someone for some horrible thing they've done to you, then you're excusing it. But that is not what forgiveness is. When you forgive other people, then you're forgiving yourself too. You're really just releasing them from having a hold on you, from triggering you. So the forgiveness for other people, which is not allowing, it's not saying it was okay, it's just the forgiveness of it releases you from being triggered or touched by that person. It's like the final cord cutting. You can completely cut that cord once you can totally let it go. And there are some things that can help you here. So I just want to talk about it. First of all, let's talk about soul contracts for a minute. So soul contracts is a big part of the puzzle that can really help. We have soul contracts with everyone that has hurt us. And so if someone has come into your life and, done some horrible thing to you, then you have a soul contract with him. Before this life, this person came forward and said, I will fulfill this contract for you. So let's say you're about to go into your human life. You have this idea of all the things you want to learn and grow from. And because it's a human life, there's going to be a lot of trauma, and you're going to learn and grow from all that trauma. So you're set setting it up for yourself. I'm going to go through this. I'm going to go through this. I'm going to give myself this choice or that choice. You're setting up all these like timelines for yourself, and all these soul contracts need to be fulfilled. So then you say, okay, these are the 5 things or 20 things that I want to go through, and who's going to help me fulfill this? Then your beautiful soul friends come forward and say, I'll help you. I'll take this horrible deed that you need done so that you can grow from it, and I'll do that for you. And it's so crazy, right? Because in this life, you're like, that is the person that, I can never forgive, that I don't like, that I'll never want anything to do with. But on the other side, this is like a true friend. And that doesn't matter. You don't have to feel that kinship from your higher self, but to know about it, to know that it was something that you agreed on. You don't have to like them in this life. You don't have to ever talk to them again. Can you forgive them or forgive yourself, which is really, I think, at the heart of forgiveness, forgiving yourself. I think the reason that we blame ourselves so much is because deep down, we know we set up those soul contracts. Deep down, we know that our law of attraction is key to all kinds of things that happen. And that's okay. Like, we go through this law of attraction, negative manifesting, to learn about how law of attraction works and how ascension works and how this world works, because everything is manifestation. And so blame ourselves, right? Maybe if I wasn't so negative, maybe if I hadn't set up that soul contract, that's unconsciously, maybe if I hadn't worn that skirt, which is so stupid how women get blamed for what they wore when they are sexually assaulted. But we take all those programs and we turn them in on ourselves. So we have to remember about soul contracts. People who have done these things, it's because we have set it up. Now, if that helps, now you can work on forgiving yourself. So when you forgive yourself, that is going to release you so much. So if you can't forgive the other people, that's fine. We're not asking you to completely forgive everybody who's done something to you, but we can do these steps to get there. And when I say we, it's because I have a lot of spirit guides here. I didn't mean to say we, but that sometimes slips out because I'm channeling. Obviously, I'm a channel and I'm giving you advice from higher dimensional beings. It's not really advice from me. It feels like advice from me because they've been filtering so much advice through me for so long as a trance channel medium. It does feel like it's from me, but it's really from them. So that's what they're saying. If you can forgive yourself, then you can release them from triggering you, like I talked about already. If you can't forgive them, then you forgive yourself. And there's a lot of ways that you can forgive yourself. Have you heard of Ho'oponopono? That is an ancient Hawaiian forgiveness technique where you're really forgiving yourself or the situation. You say, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, over and over. You can say it to yourself, to your higher self, if you don't want to even step into forgiving someone else, or you can say it to others. You can say it to the situation. You can say it to anything. Now, if you're watching me on video, you can see that I have a link here. It's soundwavesheal.com/shadow-work. And it's a bunch of ways to help you do shadow work that makes life easier. And that kind of coincides here, right? Because forgiveness is shadow work. So how are we going to do this shadow work? Well, when you go into shadow work, the easiest ways to release it so that you can get on with your life is acceptance. I accept that this is happening. And you're not saying it's okay. You're not saying that it's valid for people to act this way or for you to feel this way. But what you're saying is it's actually happening. So when you say, this is happening, I'm feeling anxious, and it's okay for me to be feeling anxious in this moment, or I accept that I am feeling anxious in this moment. I think if you say, I accept that I am feeling anxious, or I accept that I'm feeling fear, not only does it lessen because you've now accepted it instead of pushed it away, you can also come to, you know what, that's okay. Like anybody would do that. I'm only human with these triggers, with this trauma, and that's what's happening. So that's one way. And really important is looking in the mirror, looking into your eyes and say, I love you. I forgive you. That is unbelievable. So I want to tell you a little bit about my work with forgiveness. I have never been the kind of healer who tells people, you've got to go and forgive these people who did this to you, because I could never do it. I had a hard time forgiving people who, molested me or hurt me in some horrible way when I was a kid. And, that was just too hard. Like, they were predatory people. They were gross. Like, I didn't want to forgive them. It just felt like that was going to give them the okay, like you're forgiven. Don't worry. No, I couldn't do that. And I really couldn't. So what I did instead was forgive myself. And I released myself from it by forgiving myself. I forgave myself for whatever I put on myself as a child that I thought was my fault. Perhaps all the things I said before, an unconscious knowing of soul contracts, or, being whatever I thought was wrong with me. Of course, there's nothing wrong with any of us. We're just here experiencing trauma so that we can go through it, get past it, and understand the spiritual world, understand what's happening in our bodies and in our lives and in our auric field and our manifestation. All this is just part of coming into 5D, right? So one day though, I had heard about radical forgiveness. So I often talk about how everything inside we're just manifesting, right? So every thought, you're repeating thoughts, you're manifesting. Everything that's not working right now is showing you where you're not really manifesting well. And everything is just like, we're learning how to manifest. We're learning how to manifest well, how to use the law of attraction to manifest everything, because this is how you work in the 5D, is that you're working with energies to make anything that you want, to manifest, to use your thoughts to create your reality in seconds. But now in the 3D, we can't do it in seconds. It takes time. So we really have to watch our thoughts. And this is not about spiritual bypassing. You're not going to say, oh, I'm just not going to think about that. Instead, you're going to grab it. Oh, I'm thinking about that. Let me accept it. Let me send forgiveness to it. Let me send forgiveness to myself. Let me say all the things that can help me. Let me just release it right now in this 2 or 3 minutes so it can just be past us, right? So when I was thinking about all of that, I started to think about radical forgiveness. What would it be like if I just took complete and total responsibility for every single thing that's ever happened to me? Now, if you think about that for a second, that's a lot, right? I mean, especially if you're a Gen X or you had a lot of trauma, there's a lot happened. Is it all my fault? In a sense, it is, right? Because I put in those soul contracts, because I had that deep negative loop of law of attraction, where I was attracting negative things. I mean, I spent years of my life just battling entities and not knowing it, negative entities in my field. I just had no idea. I had depression, had anxiety, had a lot of things going on because I didn't understand energy and I didn't understand what was happening. And that's a great thing about learning about energy, because you can understand and you can have more control about what's happening. And that's how I went through life. So what if I just took complete and total forgiveness? So I did. And I mean, I just sat outside in nature for about 30 minutes. It might have only been 10. I mean, as I look back on it, it's hard to remember how long it was, but definitely wasn't more than 40 minutes or an hour. And I just said, you know what? Every single thing that's happened in my life is because of me in some way. And so I just take radical responsibility for it. And then I just forgive myself for everything. And that's what I did. And you wouldn't believe what happened after that. I suddenly felt it all fall away, anything that was lingering of all those past things. And I suddenly could forgive everybody. I could just see that 0 point energy. I could see that where you're sort of looking through the matrix and you can kind of see things for what they are. And I suddenly felt fine with forgiving these poor souls who were so messed up that they hurt me, right? It was easy. So I did a full radical forgiveness for everybody. But of course, I couldn't do it until I forgave myself deeply. And it was amazing. So we keep ourselves in these loops of shame, all of us. And like I said earlier, ETs say that they cannot help us go any further with telepathy until we release this shame. And this is part of it. So if you want to work with telepathy, if you want to work with that sort of thing, then it's time to radically forgive yourself, to release shame, and to open your heart that it would be okay if someone did read your mind. Although I don't think that that's really how telepathy works. But I think that you have to be open to it. You have to be like, I'm an open book to those I trust, and it's okay if they see inside me. And if you think about right now, someone's seeing inside of you, and that is so scary or horrifying, then there's a lot of shadow work left to do. And we're never finished with shadow work, especially because we're light workers. We are never finished with shadow work. We have to excavate more. We have to find more, because then we use that information to help others. So it's really important. So I think it's really important to go through these steps of forgiveness. I can say them again. I think the first step is just to understand soul contracts, to understand how this life works, which I went over a little bit in the beginning, and then to forgive yourself, and then to see if you can go into radical responsibility for everything that's happened to you, and then radical forgiveness from there. And then you will feel things fall away. And I also found like a huge uptick in joy in my life, a huge uptick in abundance. and it was tied to a lot of things. So I really recommend this. It seems a little simple the way that I'm saying, because it really is simple in that way. It really is distilled down to these things. So I want to hear from you and tell me what you think about forgiveness, what you think about ways that you have been able to forgive, or ways you're unable to forgive, or where you think you're stuck in that, or if you have questions. And I'll also bring forward Archangel Ariel. She wants to come forward and give a channel and a healing, so we'll do that too. So Ashley says, yes, I see it like accepting that, quote, I am feeling anxiety about XYZ, quote, separates it from you so you can bring it in forgiveness for yourself. That's so true. So that type of shadow work really, really works. And where did I get that? From Eckhart Tolle's book, A New Earth. Yeah, I think it's chapter 8. I think I've read it like 1,000 times, and it's so good. It's really, really good. So if you're here listening, then I applaud you for just thinking about this, because like I said, so many people have so much shame. It is time to release that shame, to understand that we're just human and we can only do what we can do. I did the best I could with what I knew at the time, is the phrase that I use and I talk about in my shadow work blog post at soundwavesheal.com. So Tyann says, I thought about it as radical acceptance. Maybe responsibility is a step further. I think so. It's radical acceptance, radical responsibility, radical forgiveness. All those things together, or in those steps, can make a huge difference. Connie says, my boyfriend refuses to forgive friends and family over silly things like money, and I don't know how to get through to him. I know it's so hard to watch people that you love, when they are struggling with things, but what can you do? You maybe show your boyfriend how it can help by doing some radical forgiveness yourself. In that space of you healing yourself, Connie, and bringing your vibration up will affect everyone that you live with and spend time with, and it will help them want to raise their vibration too. So I really believe that if you want to help your family and friends, we can't convince them, this is not like I have to tell you, you have to be saved by ascension. It's nothing like that, right? It's a personal journey. So we work on ourselves and hope that if someone else needs or wants the same thing, that they'll feel comfortable enough to come to us and say, hey, I noticed that you've been doing really well and that you seem to be a lot less anxious, and I'd love to know how you did that, and then you can say this, forgiveness, You're welcome, Connie. And once you've done that, then go a step further with gratitude. That gratitude, I'm so grateful I have been able to release all this and forgive myself. And if you've ever watched the podcast where I have Missy Sullivan on and we're talking about the best manifestation exercise, where we talk about things we'd like to have accomplished as if they've happened to manifest, it's a really fun episode. I hope you'll watch it. You could do that too. You could use that manifestation exercise to help you find a way to forgive yourself, to help you find a way to release all shame. And you could use that and it would really help just by saying what I just said, like, oh, I'm so excited that I've been able to release all this pain that I've been holding on to, that I've been able to find a way to release shame, that I've been able to fully forgive myself and forgive everyone and take radical responsibility for everything. And it's been amazing, right? Even if you haven't done it yet, you can say that, feel that feeling, and then you'll find yourself on that track for sure. And it's my favorite thing to do that manifestation exercise. It really boosts the mood. So I hope this was helpful to everyone. I wish you luck in this hard shadow work and wish to remind you that shadow work doesn't have to be hard for more than 2 or 3 minutes. It doesn't need to be something that's taken over your life for weeks at a time. I hate to hear people say that, oh, I've been doing this shadow work so hard, it's been miserable. No, that's not how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to just face it for a few moments, accept it, release it, take one little step, take a deep breath, release and clear yourself. Reiki one's always the first step towards ascension, towards spirituality. If you haven't done that yet, that's always what I get for everyone. And, go grounding and bring to you like just a feeling of peace, and go on with your day until, it starts boiling up again. And then look at that. What is that? And release that and go from there. So Archangel Ariel is who wanted to come forward today. So she's going to bring us a message. I'll be trance channeling her, and I'm sure she will give a healing too. All right, so here we go. Archangel Ariel. Forgiveness is a key aspect of your ascension process. It is one that is heavily layered in programming and negative attention on your planet. And so to release yourself from this shameful cycle will help you boost your vibration by sometimes as much as 30 to 50%. This is an incredible way for you to manifest what you wish in this life, for you to stay more on track, to connect more to your spirit team. Everything that you wish for in your life can be boosted by releasing shame and forgiving yourself and learning to forgive others and to see all in the light of ascension, in the light of the light bodies that everyone is in, knowing that many come here to play a role that is not positive. For there would be no ascension if we didn't have the negative side of this polarity. So it is polarity that is pulling you towards ascension, and it is important to know that it is that polarity that makes the change, and you will continue to feel light within your light body to rise your vibration, to bring you to a state where you can see clearly. You want to think of yourself or humanity as a mountain. At the bottom of the mountain is a very 3D sort of life where there's no introspect, only working and paying bills and slogging through. And as you learn about what this world truly is, you rise onto the mountain, and at the very top of the mountain is where 5D is really coming in. This is where you can see all the patterns. You can see through the veil of the third dimensional matrix, where you can see where all is coming from and its intention. And here's where you can separate yourself from being triggered. I wish not to say that it separates you from your emotions. You can still feel all the emotions you wish to feel or need to feel, but you can separate yourself from being easily triggered or easily combusted, as this is part of the interference that we all see you working with every day. You are always being interfered with by the fourth dimensional dark side of polarity, where you are being triggered or you are being pushed to be triggered, and it is your job to learn to see through this and improve yourself and eventually release that. Each and every trigger can be released in this way as it comes up, and you continue to walk in that space and walk forward. I would love to give you a healing now for understanding your part in this cycle of forgiveness that you may wish to enter into. I wish to give you a healing to help you on this journey and to bring into the light anything that you may need to work on by highlighting it for you in the easiest way. I am not so you do you. I am Ayo lakatataya su. Ayo nananakayan su. Ayo kakakatisi amananakashti amaya. Ayasi ayo. Ayam mananakosi alalaya. Ayodia. Every one of you here has such a large spirit team looking out for you. Connect with your spirit team and invite them and ask them to help. Ask them to show themselves to you, to guide you on your path, to help you with discernment, to help you with finding joy, and to help you find peace in this life, because that is your primary goal. And send you much love from the angels and from all of your spirit team who are gathered around you now. Okay, it's Rachel. Oh, I love Archangel Ariel. She is my master teacher guide. And I really just felt strongly she wanted to come in today. And we have a few more comments here, so I want to see what we have. Ashley says, my biggest teacher around this has been my mother. I use the word teacher now where I have used many less than desirable words in the past. I ultimately came to the conclusion that I'm not responsible for anyone else, especially their feelings, and forgiveness for myself allowed me the separation I needed to heal. That's a beautiful, beautiful story. Thank you, Ashley, for sharing that with us, because, sometimes it's not about the change that someone else needs to make, but when you make the change within yourself, then your experience is different. I was talking about this earlier. We can't change other people, but if we make the change within ourselves, we'll find that our interactions with that person have changed because they are now interacting with this higher vibrational auric field of ours. So you can't change someone else, but when you change yourself, you might find that change that you're seeking, or you might find that the situation changes and you have a much different one now, which is much better. So I hope all of this helped, and I'm so glad to see you all here, and I'll see you next time. So please give me all the hearts and likes that you feel like you want to, because I love them. And please like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And I'd love to have you see more of my lives in this way, because I really like to come on and help with my podcast and, of course, my weekly healings and meditations. You'll find them on my channel at Soundwaves Heal on YouTube. So thank you all so much and have a great day. Bye. Thank you for listening today. Please follow this podcast, like, subscribe if you haven't already. We would love to have you in our Facebook group 5D Daily. And be sure to sign up for my free Channeling Spirit Guides program, which you can find under resources at soundwavesheal.com. I am Rachel Chamness, and it's my pleasure to help light workers expand their channeling to heal in higher dimensions.